Did I just freeze up? Right, so there's some stuff which I found out over the last 20 years, which I haven't really talked about. Now, a few years ago, I wish my memory was better. I honestly wish my memory was better, but it's not as good as it was, because I can only tell you the highlights. I can't tell you all the details. You'd have to do your own research. But I can tell you one or two things. The key points, really. The original builders of our planet, the geneticists, if you like, the ones that actually manipulated our DNA, they've often been portrayed in things like Stargate SG-1 as the gold or whatever, but technically it's not them, but it's the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki apparently were incredible builders. They're the ones who were responsible for the pyramids. And they're also responsible for actually making us what we are today. So technically speaking, all of us on planet Earth are actually alien by design, literally. Because we were originally just monkeys swinging from trees, right? But we weren't the only ones. We weren't the only ones. There was other hybrids or other species, other humanoids, if you like, on other planets. And Mars was populated by another humanoid race, and they will have a dark skin. But when Mars was destroyed, these people were brought here, and we were all basically brought together. So you can speculate as much as you like on how it all happened, but obviously there were certain disasters that happened in the galaxies and the universe because of wars, and when these things happened, it became difficult for the extraterrestrials who were managing our planet to micromanage all of the different planets. So at some point we were all basically brought together on one planet. And it all sounds crazy. It all sounds absolutely crazy, I know. But this is what I heard. This is what I found out on multiple websites. So, and everyone's wondering, well, what happened? What happened in 2020? The millennium. Everything seems to have gone downhill. Everything seems to have gone completely chaotic after the millennium. What was that all about? From what I understand, I can't tell you the facts. I can just tell you what I heard. It's up to you to decide if it's accurate or not, because I can't tell you. Because obviously there's such a lot of crap on the internet, let's face it. But up until the year 2000, we were still being micromanaged. So things seem to work. The system seems to be working in a certain direction. It seemed to be organised. It seems to have a flow to it. Things seem to work out. But after that, that's when, I think it was the millennium, that's when we were basically abandoned. From what I understand, these particular ET races that were micromanaging us, when I say micromanaging us, they weren't directly controlling us, they were influencing the leaders at the top. They were influencers, basically. Right, but after the year 2000, they were no longer having anything to do with us. They basically turned their back on us and they said they walked away. They said, this planet is basically doomed. We can't do anything with it. And they just walked away. And they left us to micromanage ourselves, which is why ever since 2000, ever since the year 2000, everything's gone to shit, basically. So as I said, this is all gathered from all multiple different sources and all put together in a big jigsaw puzzle. It's up to you. You can disregard it, you can throw it out and say, ah, it's a load of crap. Yeah, okay, fine, that's fine. But there was a lot of this evidence they dug up. They found all these stone statues in an area in, I think it was in Africa. I can't remember the name of these beings, but they were originally from another planet and they lived in a small colony. They built their own little pyramids. They had these little heads, and these little stone heads weren't of ordinary people. They were of astronauts that were wearing a helmet. They had a helmet on. And these were carved, I don't know, thousands of years ago. And they found these stone heads in the jungle. You might know what the name is because I can't think of it. My memory is terrible. But and then there was these other statues they found in other parts of the world, you know, other continents. There's a reason why each continent on planet Earth has got different races on it, because they were trying to bring together all these different civilizations on one planet, and they needed to separate them, and that's why we have different countries. That's why we have different continents. That's why we have different coloured skins. We have different races. So they were never meant really to intermingle. But with the migrant situation, that's now happening. We are begin to intermingle, and like that song in the what was it? What was the song called again? Trying to remember now. I'm getting a cough sweet. Well, the melting pot. That's it. The melting pot. A song about the melting pot. That was where everybody comes together and we all interbreed and. But, you know, I'm just telling you from my perspective what I found out, what I saw, what seemed to make sense to me. But, you know, we've had scientists speculating many, many years and pulling the wool over our eyes and saying, oh, it was slaves that drug all them big stones up the side of a mountain to make the pyramids, and even today we couldn't build the pyramids because those stone slabs are so huge and massive. Even with the biggest machinery we've got these giant monster trucks, and they said that even with today's technology, we could not build those pyramids because the stones are just too freaking big. But then there was a lot of talk about the giants, an ancient race of humanoids that was basically a myth. They called it a myth at the time, but all these myths are based on some sort of factual evidence based on the past. Go and search, there were giants in those days. There's a phrase, there were giants in those days. And it's written that these giants were also another species that came to Earth. But they were too big. They were too big. They were like the dinosaurs. The planet couldn't support them. It was... our planet was just too little for giants to be roaming around it. They might have been happy on something big like Jupiter or something, but we know that Jupiter is a gaseous planet and it can't support life, at least not physical life like we know. So that's where the Anunnaki and the geneticists came in. They made things smaller. They genetically altered a lot of species to, like the birds and animals. They made things a lot smaller so that it could live on this planet without any problems. So they often refer to the ancient Jurassic period as the giantism. It wasn't so much that animals grew abnormally large, it was that was their natural state. It was the fact that these geneticists said we need to make these creatures smaller because they're too big for the planet. It can't sustain this kind of growth. So they did. They altered things and made things smaller. Anyway, that's all I know. That's all I can really tell you from what I experienced, from what I read, from what I saw. But like I said, something else is supposed to happen. Either this year or at the start of next year. I don't know exactly when, but I keep seeing stuff all over the place. It's popping up on my feed. I made a prediction back in 2022. The video won't go live until 2026. But either an asteroid's going to come and slam right into us, or there's going to be a massive tsunami, or whatever you call it, a huge ice sheet or something's going to... Look what's just happened in Switzerland, for God's sake. Go and look at what's just happened in Switzerland. A freaking mountain's falling down. A whole village has just been buried. This is in Switzerland. And it's nothing to do with climate change. That's all BS. No, there's something else going on. Oh, they can say, oh well, the ice sheet that's holding up the mountain. There's permafrost in that mountain, and it's melting, and there's rock on top of that. And when the ice is gone, there's nothing to support the rock, so the rock is coming down. Okay, it might be global warming, but I'm not seeing much global warming where I am. But there's something going on. I can't prove anything. I'm just speculating here right now, but they said that there was this prediction that there's going to be a massive flood of some kind, maybe, or it's going to be an asteroid or a meteorite, and there's all this stuff in the news about this freaking thing that's coming towards us. And they said we've got 5 months or something. Hang on, what is it? No, 7. Is it 7 months? 6 months? Hang on. What is it? June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 8 months, I think they said. So something apparently is going to happen in January of 2026 is what they're saying. I don't know what it is, but we can't do much about it. Anyway, another thing that's prominent is that they said there will be disappearances. They said there will be mass. This has happened before. A whole town just disappeared. The population disappeared. It's in the history books. Go and read about it. Search. Entire town disappears. Population disappears. Apparently it's happening again. I just saw a post that said that the disappearances have begun. This was all in the Bible, apparently, or the religious text. It was all talked about that there will be disappearances. Now, what does all that mean? I don't know. Maybe these people are being rescued. Maybe they've been moved to another planet because of what's going to happen here. But when you start to look at this stuff, when you start to see a connection, if the stories about a catastrophe that's going to come and hit us, right? And at the same time, there's a story about disappearances. You've got to realise, you've got to see that somehow this is linked together. Because what do you do if a building is about to collapse and there's people in it? What do? You evacuate the building, don't you? You say, right, everybody get out, the building's collapsing, everybody get out. Well, what do you do when a planet is about to get smacked? You can't exactly come down and say, hi there, I'm your extraterrestrial brother-in-law. I would like to evacuate your planet. I think I'm going to go, everyone's going to scream. I think people are just going to disappear somehow and find themselves somewhere else. How the hell do I get here? Where the hell am I? I think that's more like it. It'd be like that movie, what do you call it? Is it Steven Spielberg or something? I don't know which one it was, but these people just went to sleep one night and woke up and found themselves on another planet. You think, where the hell, how did I get here? What's this place? And also, another one is The Prisoner with Patrick McGowan. He goes to bed and he gets gassed and then he finds himself in this freaking, on this island. He draws the curtains back. Where the hell am I? That is kind of what I would expect to happen, you know. I don't think extraterrestrials would work in a blatant knock on your door. Would you like to come with us? We're evacuating. I don't think they're going to want to deal with all the arguments and all the criticism and all the shouting and yelling and who the hell are you? Sort of situations. No, I think it's going to be a lot more calm, you know. But yeah, but on the other hand, if nothing happens, right? I mean, who's going to get left behind? There was a movie called Left Behind. Go and watch that. A movie called Left Behind. What was his name in it? Can't think of his name now. He'll come to me in a minute, maybe. But in this movie, Left Behind, they evacuated all the children to another planet. they left all the sinners behind. All of the negative people, the bad people, whatever you want to call it. They left all those people behind. And it was only the righteous people that were saved. And then we come to the religious texts again about how certain people would be saved. Interestingly, that correlates with all of this stuff in the movies too. So, hang on a minute. Was the son of, was he actually talking about, and the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark? And all the animals went by two into the Ark. Is all of that related to this? Has it happened before? You know, you gotta wonder, like, so you gotta put the pieces together and work it out and say, oh, that adds up, that makes sense. That seems to be connected to that. That doesn't seem to be connected to that. You've gotta look at the whole picture. They call it the big picture. You can't just look at a little tiny bit of it through a magnifying glass and say, that's bullshit. No, look at the whole thing and say, well, that could be connected to that. And, you got to look at everything. And if some of it doesn't add up, dismiss it and say, well, that doesn't seem to be part of the picture. But then when you see, you wonder why they're trying to thin out the population as well. Or are they thinning out the population? Why? Why would they want to do that? Maybe there's not enough lifeboats. Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going because my voice is going out. See you. Take care. And let's hope it's all bullshit. Let's just